Welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Now, the first round of the 2024-25 Malta Guinness Women's Premier League came to an end over the weekend with the match day 9 fixtures. Now, reigning champions Ampem Dakwa ladies continue their dominance in the northern region, in the northern zone, while Berry ladies remain at risk of relegation. My colleague Lawrence Beidou has more in the following report.
Ampem Dakwa ladies' dominance in the northern zone continued after the first round of the campaign. The former league winners finished the first half of the season with a 100% record, winning all 9 games and seeming to be running away with the title. Dreams ladies and Fusu Royal ladies are the 2 teams behind and contending for the crown. Sunshining ladies and Kumasi Sports Academy are the struggling teams following their losses in the final game of the opening round. In the southern zone, Police ladies maintained their position at the top of the table after playing out a goalless draw with Epiphany Warriors in their last game. Lady Strikers retained their spot in the 6th position after being held to a 1-1 draw by Soccer Intellectuals over the weekend. Berry ladies look to be the team in the biggest trouble after picking up just 3 points in the first round. The highlight of the last round of games from the first half of the season was at the Antieku Park, where Hazakes ladies fought well to keep their 2nd position on the league table. Here is their head coach, Boniface Aipa.
We need to look at our scoring. We need to improve a lot on our scoring. Our scoring is very bad. And then maybe our transitional play, the way we transition up front and that kind of thing. So we need to look at those 2 things, yeah. It's a big problem, and I've thought of it, but I realize that maybe the teams that we played at the in the FA Cup are lower division teams. And I think the way we were scoring, that should even help us to be able to play our game well, understand and how we score. And we were scoring more goals, and it means that we should have replicated them in the league proper. But unfortunately, I don't know our mindset, what happens to the players when they are playing with their equals. I don't know their mindset, but it's rather unfortunate that we are not able to score more than a goal in our Premier League matches. We need to work on that seriously.
A keenly contested game between 2 sides who are looking to win the Women's Premier League title this season. Jonina ladies and Hazakes ladies. Unfortunately for fans who trooped in here, the game ended with no goals. But for the 2 teams, it will be a good point to take home and then to keep at home. Hazakes ladies are looking to win the league for the 2nd time running. Jonina ladies, 2nd season in the Women's Premier League, 2nd season in the top flight. They've been at the top, but they've dropped in the last few weeks, something that they will want to work on in the 2nd half of the season. There's still work to be done because there are 9 games still to go. But then this is a result both teams will be proud of. Lawrence Beidou for Joy Sports from the Antieku Park.
Well, let's turn attention to the Urban Sports Festival, where the Maiden edition took place over the weekend. Well, it did take place at the iconic Good Park in Accra, with emphasis on shining a spotlight on Ghana's burgeoning urban sports scene. We have more for you on that event in this report.
Which was organized by Ghanaian NGO DANK in partnership with the French Embassy in Ghana, featured competitive tournaments in 3x3 basketball, breaking, and skateboarding alongside live music, workshops, and family-friendly activities. Basketball competitions saw teams such as Togo's Ignite, the Big Four, ISO Ghana, and the Elite battle for top honors, while the breaking and skateboarding contest highlighted the creativity and talent within Ghana's urban sports community. Mohamed Tahir, the organizer of the event, spoke to Joy Sports about the inspiration behind the festival.
I think it's been 2 years we've been working on this festival. We really wanted to create an event where lesser known sports and youth can come together away from the traditional sports, but also build a platform where a standard competition can be held, that youth that participate in that competition can have a platform to level up their points, to be seen and invited to international competition.
Tahir also expressed delight with the turnout and execution of the first edition.
I think as the first edition, it's been great, honestly. I think currently we have over 800 people here. Our anticipation was 1,500 for the first edition. and so far we had 800, and we still have about 5 hours to go. So hopefully we meet our target. But in general, the organization have been great, the partners have been great, all the collaborators. There's a lot of youth out here, so this also tells us that there is a need for such festivals to happen in Ghana.
Marin Hayam, a representative from the French Embassy, emphasized the importance of events like the Urban Sports Festival in fostering inclusivity and empowering the youth.
We support urban sports like basket 3-3, skateboarding and breakdance because it's a way to encourage young to practice sports, and it's also a way to create jobs and to empower the youth. You know, in France we take these disciplines very seriously. As you know, skateboard, breakdance and basket 3-3 have gained a significant recognition with their inclusion in the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. For us, the urban culture is very inclusive because it brings together people from all backgrounds, regardless of their age or their gender, allowing everyone to express themselves freely through music, dance and sports.
Hem also noted how collaborations like these strengthen ties between France and Ghana.
Urban culture reinforces the ties between Ghana and France as it is creating opportunities for collaboration. And so we are very excited to share and to celebrate our culture through sports and urban creativity. And we think that this festival is offering a unique opportunity to highlight the talent of young Ghanaians in these disciplines, giving them a platform to shine and to gain recognition.
As the first event of its kind in Ghana, the Urban Sports Festival not only brought together sports and culture, but also provided a platform for young athletes to gain visibility and new opportunities on a global stage.
Now, the final draw for the 2025 Total Energies African Cup of Nations, which is due to be hosted in Morocco, did conclude following a star-studded ceremony at the Mohammed V National Theatre in Rabat early on Monday, now giving the 24 qualified teams their path to the trophy. Let's take a closer look at the draw, and we'll be joined by my colleague John Boafo from the home of the reigning champions, Ivory Coast, who will be having a quick conversation on this and more. And just taking a closer look at the draw and the standings, you see Group A, if you can just pause it there for me. You see Morocco finding themselves in Group A. Mali is also in Group A. Zambia also is in there. Comoros also is in there. In Group B, former champions and, of course, the most successful team when it comes to the AFCON, Egypt, is there alongside South Africa, who are also looking to impress. Angola is also in there. Angola, part of the teams, one of the teams, the team that topped Ghana's group in the qualifying series. Zimbabwe also find themselves there in the Group B. Group C, Nigeria is in there. Tunisia, Uganda, Tanzania. Group D, you have Senegal, DR Congo, Benin, and Botswana. And Group F, Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and James Akwesi Pierce, Sudan is also in Group E. Group F has got Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Gabon, and Mozambique in there. Well, let me just touch base with John Boafo, sports analyst based in Ivory Coast, and joins me on Zoom quickly to have a chat on this draw. John, it's quite disappointing to see that going through this and not seeing Ghana in there. Quite disappointing. I'm sure we've spoken extensively about it, and we'll get to talk more about it as the tournament draw near. But give me your quick takeaway from the draw. I'm sure you would like to start with the group that the reigning champions, Ivory Coast, find themselves in, and knowing that you are in Ivory Coast, what's been the reaction to the draw?
Yeah, good evening, and thanks for having me once again. It is really a wake-up call to see that Ghana isn't part of this upcoming con that's happening starting on the 21st of December in Morocco. But looking to Group F, there hasn't really been one group that really is the group of death in this draw but Group F is probably the group that looks the closest to a group of death with the likes of Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon. There's been a strong rivalry between the Ivorians and the Cameroonians, that they like to call themselves the continent. There's really a huge clash between both sides, and then a Gabon side, which on its day is a very good side as well. And then you add to it Mozambique, so that would be a strong group. And then in general, I think it's going to be a very good AFCON starting on the 21st of December in Morocco. Morocco have a way to host well. They're already going to be hosting the under-17s AFCON earlier in the year, so that will give us basically a preview of what to look forward to at this full AFCON that starts in December at the end of the year.
Interesting, really interesting. But I mean, just outside of the Ivory Coast and Morocco also hosting the tournament, you made a very profound point about it's not particularly any group of death, because it looks like fairly competitive sides, but not so many strong sides finding themselves in the same group. Maybe it just might be early days yet, but is there any country that you're particularly looking forward to see how they will fare in the tournament?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching this Moroccan side. They're going to be playing in front of their own fans, and hopefully they'll be able to perform. Having watched them at the AFCON last year in Cote d'Ivoire, they really struggled to break down teams that were more defensive. We can all remember how they performed really well during the World Cup, but they were more a counter-attacking team back then. So being at home, they will need to be quite productive. They'll need to be able to score goals from Hakimi, the right back, and from the rest of the team. They need to all perform well to not disappoint their fans at home.
Interesting. Well, particularly for me, I'm looking to see how Sudan will fare, considering the Ghanaian interest in their James Akwesi-Appiah, to see how far they can go in the tournament. The group they find themselves in, well, looks quite a challenge for them, but he's indicated that, well, if you're not ready to compete, then you should not qualify at all for the tournament in the first place. Well, John is going to stay with me because we'll be taking a closer look at the Champions League, final round of games in the league phase pretty shortly. But let's hear from the president of CAF, Patrice Motsepe, who is already touting the tournament in Morocco to be the best. Well, Ghana is definitely not going to be there at the most exciting tournament. It's quite a sad story. But let's turn attention to some European football, because the end of the highly debated Champions League group stage phase is set to play its final game this season, with all 18 games to be played at the same time at 8 o'clock tomorrow, Wednesday. Now, the Swiss model format aims to ensure that most matches in a tournament remain significant until the very end of the league phase. Now, 16 of the final 18 games offering something meaningful to play for. The only exceptions being Young Boys and Red Star Belgrade and Storm Graz and RB Leipzig, who have been ruled out as having no chance of qualifying to the knockout phase of the competition. Well, so this is the standings at the moment. The fixtures tomorrow, the standings at the moment. So the top 8 qualify automatically to the next phase of the competition. Then from 9 to 24, they will play a knockout phase to join the top 8. And those from 25 to 36, they have all been eliminated. Interestingly, Manchester City are ranked 25th. And what it means is that they have a crucial game tomorrow against Club Brugge, and they need to win that game to advance to the knockout phase. Other than that, they will be eliminated. And that's where John Braffo joins me again on this very final round of fixtures. If you can just have the fixtures, just look at it. So significantly, as Manchester City and the situation they find themselves in. John, tell me, are you surprised to see Manchester City at this stage, at this position, at this stage of the league phase of the UCL?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone had told me at the beginning of the season that they would be at that stage at this point of the season, I would have probably insulted them or, been very skeptical about that. But it's well documented the problems that they've had recently with their matches. But more recently, they've been able to basically get back to the old Manchester City that we know and that we love as well. They have the last match that they played over the weekend against Chelsea. They were down 1-0 and ended up winning. Last week, their matchup against PSG, they were down. They were up 2-0 and then ended up losing 4-2. So it really depends on what Manchester City is going to show up. But this group stage has been really exciting. And I would say there's probably three things that stand out so far. First of all, the high scoring, an average of over 3.22 goals per match, as opposed to last year, which was closer to 3. And also the revival of Barcelona. If you look at the ranks of the top scorers, number 1 is Lewandowski with 9 goals, and then number 2 is Rafinha with 8 goals. So they have found their way of performing in this competition. And then also you look at the strong performance also of the English clubs. Ranked number 1 is Liverpool, and Arsenal ranked number 3. And the last thing I would also say is that some of the traditional powerhouses have struggled to be able to adapt to this new format. You look at the likes of Madrid, Juventus, Bayern, or even Dortmund, who are in that middle, in that 10 to 14 kind of ranking, and you see that they haven't performed as well as they had traditionally. So it's been really exciting, and those 18 matches tomorrow are going to be exciting. The City's match against Club Brugge is one to really look at. And then on the other side, the PSG match as well is something to look at, because both PSG and in Stuttgart start on 10 points. If they draw, there's a potential for both going through. But PSG just had an epic match last week, 4-2 against City, and they'll be wanting to really confirm that performance and beat Stuttgart at home.
But just final question to you so we can wrap up. I mean, at the end of tomorrow, will it give us an indication of which team is in the best position to win the title at the end of the season?
I don't think so. There are some teams that have been performing well, but as you know, the Champions League has a way of creating magic out of nothing. So in the next knockout phases, I'm sure that some of the big teams that were able to scrape through to this knockout stages, that they might not even end up in the last 16. And then once we see the last 16 and that phase starts in the end of, in March, the draws the 21st of February, we'll be able to see who's in that last 16 and what the matchups are. And that's when the really exciting knockout football comes through, and we're able to see that. Maybe it's Liverpool that are ranked number 1, they'll end up winning it. Or maybe it's one of the teams that are ranked between the number 9 and 16 that will end up winning the Champions League. That's why we love the Champions League. It's unpredictable. It's the best football that you will see other than when the Black Stars play.
Well, John, we're going to wait to see if Man City can avoid a drop tomorrow or they can make it. It's going to be an exciting time tomorrow. John, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll catch up when the draw is done for the knockout phase of the competition. Well, that's all we have for you tonight on Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbah. We're going to be back same time tomorrow. PM Express is up next, so please do stay tuned.